कहते कि परसों this 25 years, the next 25 years is going to be the अमृत काल, right? इस अमृत काल में जो हम लोग ने चेंज करना है, जो आपको चेंज करना है, दुनिया को चेंज करनी है, right? हम सबके हाथ में है और अमृत काल हम लोग बनाना है। वो बोलते हैं ठीक है, वहां पे खड़े होके हम लोग क्या करते हैं, isn't it? Right? So let's look at the next slide, please, if you don't mind. Very important topic. How many of you are using Chat GPT? Raise your hands. Do you know what Chat GPT is? No?
Yes.
Who knows? Please. One.
Sir.
Only one. Only one in the whole auditorium. Wow. Number two.
She also.
Yeah. Oh, number three. All right. Very good. So, see, the world is driven by science, technology, and business, right? So, जब मेरे बेटी है, she is 17 years old, right? तो वो बोलती है, देखो, मैं जब बोल रही थी, देखो हम लोगों का टाइम में ना, I was born in early 70s, तो वहाँ पे कुछ नहीं थे, टेलीविजन नहीं थे, ठीक है, रेडियो घूम रहा था, 100 घर में एक टेलीविजन कभी 80s में मिलते थे, उसके बाद दूरदर्शन चैनल चालू हुआ वगैरह वगैरह. So we have seen the kind of technological development, and I am so happy that I have been in this journey that today I am developing the technology for robotics, science, and I have designed the machines which are aircrafts, which are Airbus 380, which is the largest passenger aircraft. That was my first project that I designed, that we are all proud of. And second is the Airbus 350 or Boeing 787 Dreamliners you have heard of. वो सारे चीज़, वो बम्बार्डियर, बहुत सारे चीज़ काम किए हुए हैं. तो बेसिकली ये जो टेक्नोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट है, तो मेरे को ये गर्व है कि we have created a product that we are living to get together today, and then we are also driving the robotics and whatever the information technology that we develop today to the next level. मतलब आप सबने सुने होंगे इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन 1, 2, 3, 4, उसमें बहुत सारे जॉब्स कट के गए, राइट? जॉब्स kept on changing, kept on removing people. People had to align for new world. Many lost their careers, many lost their jobs, and they had to learn something new. Somebody went really poor, somebody went somewhere, right? So this is the kind of scenario that we are seeing. तो ये जो मैं जो बोलना चाहती हूँ कि when I tried to tell my daughter, look, we didn't have Snapchats, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have anything, and she was saying, you know, your life was so boring, you are so old, daddy. She always calls me as daddy, right? So I'm a daddy. So what I'm saying is, these are the three powerful domains that we need to watch out for. Science is massively changing the world. Technology is driving the new generation. Like for example, the robotics are here. Your jobs are going to be much more different as teachers, right? Your students may just use ChatGPT or something else. You don't even know the examination has been completed by a robot, not by you, or not by the student. You understand this? So there are so many dodging techniques, so many knowledge, information overflow, I would say, that's happening today, and the information is available like anything before. So that's the business, and that the business is going to be a next key thing, which is going to drive the whole world. That means when three things change, these genders that we are talking about are going to be really getting aligned to this. That means, abhi I'll just give you an example. Companies mein they are taking LGBTQ people, right? Transgenders and gays and lesbians and I don't know what not, bisexuals and pansexuals, हजारों varieties हैं इसमें. लेकिन हमारा हिंदुत्व में ये बोलते हैं कि केवल 11 varieties हैं, right? तो इसमें हम लोग जो बोलते हैं बायोलॉजिकल सेक्स, अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारे में पता नहीं कौन लेके आ गया इसका दिमाग में कि ये थर्ड जेंडर है. कहाँ से ये थर्ड जेंडर घुस गया, आई हैव नो आइडिया. इसके ऊपर भी यू नो आई जस्ट गेट वेरी इरिटेटेड विद सच टॉपिक्स. ये बायोलॉजिकल सेक्स है, इसमें क्या होता है, जब बच्चा पेट में रहता है, we will know the much more in detail. I will tell you the scientific reason behind what happens over there. कि ये बच्चा जब पेट में रहता है, वो वहाँ पे it's a genes related issue या social factor. It's a, so many things, right? So it's a very important subject that one has to understand before they even utter a word that okay, it's all belonging, it's oneness, it's one society, correct? So that's what we will learn, and this business is there. And then I don't know if you can see this slide. This slide says, my mother named me when I was born, right? All of us, my mother, parents, somebody did it, right? But today I am independent, right? I can also take decisions. You can let who they want to be. Why do you want to force them? Correct? So please go through this presentation. I'm going to leave this presentation with you on a copy. It's already there in a pen drive, so you guys can have an access, or you can also connect anytime. So we'll share that. So please, next slide. So people were saying that binary and so on, right? Men, women only. Yes, this is what is called as cis-sexism, right? So इसमें क्या होता है कि the belief is ठीक है, खाली 2 जेंडर है दुनिया में, उसके अलावा कोई है ही नहीं. So this is the happening in lot of places across the world. हम लोग अकेले नहीं है, वर्ल्ड वाइड ये प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है? अफ्रीका में बहुत ज्यादा है, और मिडिल ईस्टर्न रीजन में आप जाएंगे तो मुस्लिम कंट्रीज, इट्स अ हॉरिबल सिचुएशन. उसमें डेथ पेनल्टी भी है जब वो बोलते हैं कि मैं बायोलॉजिकल सेक्स हूँ, क्योंकि उनको समझ में नहीं आता है, और उनका जो धर्म है वो बोलता है कि ये हराम है. हराम मतलब आप जानते हैं ना, इट्स इलीगल एज पर द रिलीजन. तो उसको क्या करते हैं, मार देते हैं सीधा. डेथ पेनल्टी, नो डिस्कशन एट ऑल, लेके जाओ उसको, खत्म कर दो बस. तो देयर इट्स द मैटर. तो इसके लिए लोग डर के जीते हैं, या उसको उस कंट्री को छोड़ के भाग जाते हैं, right? This is what is the forced migration. That's what I have also written in many publications. My website may be here, you can go through that in detail and try to know that. So this is cis-sexism, which is only a belief which our society has, is only because there are 2 genders only, right? You understood that. Now we can go to the next slide. So society क्या है? हम लोग जब बच्चे होते हैं तब हमें बोला जाता है, देखो दिस आर द डूज एंड डोंट्स. ये गलत है बाबा, ये सही है, ये तुम्हारा ड्रीम है, क्या करना चाहते हो? ऊपर देखो, बोलो कि मैं पायलट बनना है एक दिन. मैं भी ऐसे ही बोली थी, एक दिन पायलट बन गई, और मेरा भी हवाई जहाज था. तो दैट इज अ बिग डिफरेंस. बट इमेजिन यू ड्रीम, you say something to achieve that, right? There is a big difference. That is a huge difference, right? So society जो क्या करती है, सर में भर देती है कि देखो ये ही है, सही है, ये गलत है, ऐसा ही जीना है. और इनका जो fears हैं, right? डर डर डर, हर जगह में डर, okay? किसी को देखा तो डर. तो ये डर जो है पैदाशी भर देते हैं दिमाग में. उनके पास भी डर है, सबको डर दिला देते हैं. उनका मे बी दे आर सफरिंग विद एंजाइटी डिसऑर्डर, या पता नहीं क्या है, ब्लड प्रेशर है उनका, या कुछ चल रहा है उसका, या सोशल प्रॉब्लम चल रहा है उनका. लेकिन उनका जो सर के अंदर जो दिमाग में चल रहे हैं, वो आके हमारा सर के अंदर घुसेड़ देते हैं, राइट? ये जो fear है, fearful factors, that we also get into it and we start living in this fear forever, correct? So this is a big problem that one faces, कि ये सही है, ये गलत है, ठीक है, ये इनका खानदान के हैं, ये ऐसा नहीं करते, correct? तो ये हमारा problem हो गया. And most of the time आप हमारा families को देखें तो ये patriarchal driven होते हैं. जब पापा बोलते हैं, हाँ पापा बोल दिया, फिर माँ बोलते हैं, या भाई बोलते हैं, बड़े भाई, बड़े बहन, ऐसे बोलते हैं. लेकिन बहन नहीं, इक्वालिटी वहाँ पे भी नहीं है ज़्यादा. लेकिन बड़े भाई बोलते हैं तो मानते हैं हमारा सोसाइटी में. सो इट्स बेसिकली पेट्रियाटिक ड्रिवन, राइट? तो ये सिचुएशन में हम लोग वो भी हो जाता है कि एक बंदा जो पैदा होता है एक खानदान में तो वो एक खानदान का प्रॉपर्टी बन जाता है। कोई सोचते हैं कि ये ठीक है, ये हमारा 60-40 साइट है, मैं ले लिया, ये हमारा मेरी खानदान की है, मैं कुछ भी कर सकती हूँ इसके ऊपर, फिर भी मेरा हक है। लेकिन वो भूल जाता है कि ये अकेला एक आदमी पैदा हुआ था इस दुनिया में एंड ही इज एबल टू और ही और शी इज एबल टू live their own life. Right? This is a big problem that one is facing today. Right? So this is something what we need to see if we are able to come out of this. The world is trying to work towards this problem. Of course, it's not only us. In India, we are trying to work on it. The world is working on it. Robots are working on it. The companies are already installing robots to teach them what it is. Or जो सारे सिस्टम्स हैं, गवर्नमेंट्स हैं फॉर एग्जांपल, एंड इसके ऊपर जो अभी ब्लॉकचेन्स बन रहे हैं टेक्नोलॉजी में, राइट? तो वो ब्लॉकचेन में भी ये सब इम्प्लीमेंट हो रहा है, बिकॉज आई एम आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ वन ऑफ दिस ब्लॉकचेन डेवलपमेंट आउट ऑफ इसराइल कंपनी। आई हैव मेड अ कोलैबोरेशन विद देम। सो इंडिया मेरे को चुने हैं उन्होंने, so they have come in cooperation with me. So we are developing a system that it understands the culture, knowledge, and also the kind of future development that one has to do. Right? We are clear on this. So we can go to the next slide. So ये थोड़ा disturb कर सकता है, लेकिन I'm just going to go into my small personal journey. I'll share it with you because this is a, if you see this in a motivational level, please take this, because I'm not here to present you like other trans women do in their presentations, because वो जो बोलते हैं ये मुश्किल है, ये मेरे को प्रॉब्लम हो गया, वो हो गया वगैरह, मुझे वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, राइट? वो प्रॉब्लम को कैसे इंट्यूशन में बदलें, उसको ड्रीम जैसे बदलें और इसको मैनिफेस्ट करें, नेक्स्ट लेवल पे ले आएं, that we are ready to conquer the world. Right? It's a different environment that we are trying to do. Not stand somewhere, cry what the other trans women are trying to do until today. And that's what I was telling Dr. Lata Madam, that I have a big difference. When you call me for this kind of a seminar and information, you would have never ever met me across the world like me, that there is someone who has gone through much more in depth of these kind of thought processes and have reach that kind of self, let's say realization level, where one can decide that ठीक है, ये है ये situation and this is how I need to deal with it. How do I turn this into a complete positivity, right? So, as I said, my family dumped me, meaning my parents, in-laws, or my wife, except my daughter. My daughter still, she loves me and she says, Daddy, whoever you are, I have no problem, and we are the best pals that we are ever there. So I always treat her as my best pal, right? I mean, we are not, father and daughter kind of relationship. We are friends, much more depth oriented. We share a lot of information that one cannot even imagine how much we speak and make fun of a lot of topics everyday basis. I miss her, of course. So, no, please. Stay in the same place. So ये जो intuition जो बताया अभी, तो when all these people dumped me, मुझे ऐसा लगा कि एक ऐसा सदमा पहुंच गया, और even business people as well in some places. My wife called up and she tried to talk to them and literally devastated my image and impression. जब career बनाते हैं कोई, अभी आप इतने मेहनत करके पढ़ाई करते हैं, कल आपका बेइज्जती होगी तो क्या बोले? So this is the situation what I also went through. So a lot of people dumped me out. So that is where I went into a shock. I went into complete silence. I didn't even go out anywhere. I have a large house, a really massive house. I have a big garden as well. So I didn't even go out to see the sunset, sunlight, the butterflies, जो भी हैं. No, sorry. Last summer I was at home for maybe about let's say 3 weeks or so, right? Cooking my own food, and मेरे को एक plate दिया गया, एक spoon दिया गया और एक कटोरा. I became an untouchable in my own home. Sorry, that's the real status. So I went through that. and I try to realize, ठीक है ये लोग क्यों कर रहे हैं? Basically, it's a fear. Everybody are afraid of what it is. पूछ रहे हैं कि ये कैसे लाइफ चलेगी in the future? How is this going to change the whole scenario? How is our new career is going to look like? I'm not bothered about career. I'm bothered about how do I survive today, right? How do I live? How do I, come out of this? But when I try to look at my own self, बहुत सारे लोग आके डरा के गए हैं कि इसको बोलते हैं कि हम लोग जेंडर एक्सपर्ट ओपिनियंस, राइट? जब खड़े होते हैं लोग, they will say saying that ठीक है ये गलत है, ये सही है, ये ऐसा ही करना है. फिर जो इनका जो सोसाइटी में डर चल रहे थे, हमारे सर के ऊपर डाल के भागते हैं, राइट? सो हमारे अंदर जो चल रहे हैं वो कोई सुनते नहीं है. What is the self realization and how this our whole body and cells are reacting and what is it internally saying to us that who you are, why do you want to get stuck to this kind of a situation? ये जो intuition जो real intuition जो बोलते हैं, it is a self realization, right? So you reach that kind of high level heights that you attain this kind of message. You realize who you are, who you want to be. You are living for your own self, right? So once you try to do this, then you can avoid all these kind of problems. और मैंने अभी लिस्ट किया, एक स्पाइरल डायग्राम बनाया, ठीक है? एक प्रॉब्लम नंबर 1 है, इसको कैसे सॉल्व करें? प्रॉब्लम नंबर 2, 3, 4, 5, ऐसे स्पाइरल neatly it was able to be planned and completed. So next phase, what and where I went is a stage where I reached this kind of level where I said, okay, ठीक है, ये मेरा dreams हैं and this is how I want to fulfill. What is the kind of new life am I trying to plan? I really put those structures in the place and then I try to move forward, right? That's the kind of progress I have done until today, and I'm standing much more stable. अभी मेरा observation है कि सारे के सारे जो society में हैं, right? They're one way or other way agitated. और कुछ ना कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. Financially वो problem में है, या उनका earnings कम होते जा रहे हैं because of technological or scientific innovations and changing in the world. कोरोना आ गया, pandemic आ गया, हजारों चीज. People are just in their own mental spheres, right? So किसी के साथ बात करो तो nothing happens. In the past things used to happen. People used to trust. अभी कोई trust नहीं करते हैं. People are just simply changing. So there is a real new world that we are trying to enter into, which I'm observing. And the other very disturbing fact is, Australia में, you people should know this, that the psychiatrist numbers are completely, there is a big job opportunities for psychiatrists. Why? Because they have so many mental patients. किसी को एंजाइटी है, किसी को डिप्रेशन है, किसी को कुछ ना कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम है. मतलब you can imagine people are going through so much of crisis. That means one country is having it. हमारे में तो कितने के पास रहेंगे? Our people think that चलो इंडिया का पेपरमिंट $650 मिल गया, खा लो घर में सो जाओ, right? This is what people are used to, and they don't want to go to doctors. खर्चा होगा, no. We will try to see if we can avoid this खर्चा, right? So ये बहुत ही बड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम है. मैं एक बात तो I will tell you how I used to solve this issue is that if there is a nature, सुबह आप उठ के बाहर जाओ तो देखो आपका nature, just see the way it is. Why do you want to go and say ये grass बहुत अच्छा है, इसको काटो बैठ के, इसको ये पौधे को यहाँ से निकालो वहाँ पे डालो? हक बनता है आपका? It's a nature, right? So this is the situation. So जो person ऐसा है, so just let him be like that. Let them be like that. And why do we want to really change this kind of scenario upside down? And why do we have to do this effort in correcting somebody? So हम लोगों के पास जो है, जो ऐसा मिलता है situation, वैसा ही देखिए, ऐसा ही enjoy कीजिए. And don't try to change this kind of world. But your job possibly is not, because you are teachers. जो उनको जैसे कितना सिखा सकते हैं, please use that kind of your liberty to do this. But beyond that, it's a fate of the student to grasp it or not to grasp it. Okay, so that's the short observation that I will provide. So I can go to this Sanatana Dharma, our Hinduism, right? I'm not here to preach any Hinduism, try to convert or try to say anything, but I'm just giving you the information, what Hinduism is, and how is this being, supported in order to, for the transgender or the biological sex itself, how is Hinduism seeing this? So that you have a knowledge that anyone says नहीं आप अंदर नहीं आना बाहर रुकना ये सही नहीं है वो गलत है ये गलत है या कोई गुरुजी कुछ ना बोल दिया this is not something what is normal because ये इसके ऊपर एक टॉपिक के ऊपर ही मेरा एक बुक बन रहे हैं अभी right I mean it will be published very soon I guess. So it's a very very important subject. One has to know that हमारा Hinduism जो है, this is an all-inclusive society. कहीं भी किधर भी हमने नहीं बोला है कि कुछ भी ग्रंथ, कुछ भी आप किसी भी टेम्पल के ऊपर जाओ, तरह के you get all these little bit older temples, not the newer ones I'm saying. So you go to this, you see that Gopuram, right? I don't know what you say for that in Hindi. तो आप कहीं भी जाएं तो टेम्पल्स के ऊपर देखें आप होयसला या जो भी है डायनास्टीज द ओल्डर जनरेशन बिफोर द इन्वेडर्स एंटर्ड इंडिया दैट मीन्स द इन्वेडर्स आई एम सेइंग देयर आर टू कैटेगरीज वर मुस्लिम्स एंड द ब्रिटिश और द यूरोपियंस हु इन्वेडेड आवर इंडिया सो एवरीथिंग वाज एन फैंटास्टिक ऑल इंक्लूसिव सोसाइटी दैट वी हैड इन द पास्ट हमारा बीच में कोई we never had we didn't even know how to differentiate. सबको एक ही सम्मान था कोई ट्रांस वुमन है तो वो भी काम करते थे ये भी काम करते थे there is no issue nobody used to make fun of anybody right हाँ ये देखो ये लड़की का कपड़े पहन के बाहर जा रहा है तो ये क्या है right उनको they have some real need right तो उनको समझना चाहिए कि ये क्या है और जो definitions आया है अभी राइट ये लड़की है लड़का है ऐसा ही ड्रेस करना है ऐसा ही प्रेजेंटेशन करना है ये ड्रेसिंग जेंडर नॉर्म्स हैं राइट एंड दिस इज अ सोसाइटल ड्रिवन ये जो हम लोगों ने बनाया है इसका अच्छा इस कपड़े में आप ठीक नहीं लगते राइट मुझे क्या कंफर्टेबल है वो मैं पहनती हूँ तो who are you to say that this is not good for you right this is a big difference that one has to understand and change हमारा हिंदुइज्म में पहले से ही था we knew what it is और इसको we had so much embedded things into our system even our lords Shri Krishna ले लें आप शिवा ले लें you take any new avatars and you have heard of Mahabharata scripts Mahabharata is eccentric they come and there are different levels of people you level 4 different levels up जठराग्नि बोले सर्वाग्नि बोले उसमें सब खेल के गए हैं basically they knew so much of yoga they had so much of powers in those generation कि हम लोगों का जो था पहला practices everything is lost we don't even know who we are today right हमारा identity जो है it's been eliminated that's where I'm trying to do a big research on this topic that I've collaborated with Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Mumbai trying to bring this out and also in University of Dharwad in Karnataka. So trying to do this kind of research. Let's see if this can be a big success story that we can bring out in India and promote to the people that what is lost. And I also have a big support from the obviously people when I said that I want to come out of this book, Dr. Zava Kardo, we are there with you, definitely. So I'm working on this topic. Right, so we can go to the next slide. So as I said, Hindu mythology scripts also, like you go to Ramayana, Rama also had this problem when he was supposed to go out of the let's say the palace. At that time, he said all men and women go out, but there were a group of people standing. So that is also documented if you see this. So we are talking of Dwapara, right? And then when it goes back, so it is almost like 6000 BCE, we knew transgenderism, and our Vedas or Upanishads or any sort of things that we have as our guidance for Hinduism has this inclusive society. So never it says, up chhod do. So they always said prakriti evam vikriti. So this is where we are, and we are not somebody who can be ignored. We are all to be seen as people only, right? So isme we will talk next. Next slide is more interesting. Sir, please. ठीक है, ये I think you already know that we spoke about it. So why people in India they reject transgenderism because इनको knowledge नहीं है. जैसे किसी को भी knowledge नहीं है, थर्ड जेंडर बोलते हैं या फॉर्म्स में भर देते हैं ट्रांसजेंडर नहीं है, खड़ा हो जाओ. किसी को भी एक चीज भी कुछ भी पता नहीं है इनको कि है क्या चीज. किसी को पूछो तो भाग जाते हैं. किसी को बात ट्रांसजेंडर नहीं भागो भागो भागो. And they have a transphobia. They are expressing in a big way, right? जब तक के लिए हम लोग मैं वो नहीं खोलती हूँ किसी को पता नहीं चलता है, right? So it's a big problem. So this is a knowledge-related subject, and इसको fight चलते हैं. इसके ऊपर rights नहीं है, human rights issues and human rights violations are taking place in a larger way in the society. That someone needs this kind of hand-holding to be done. So otherwise. This is going to go into a different direction. इसके लिए मेरा ट्रिप बना है All Inclusive India, that we want to educate, and I am sitting on top of it that I publish at least 2 to 3 posts on LinkedIn every day because I can't write in any other social media. LinkedIn is what I'm using in a big way to exchange the information to the world that what is this transgenderism, and I also share my experiences of it's a transition or any find outs, any sort of things. I do a lot of introspection. So इसके ऊपर मेरा writing बहुत सारे बनते हैं, and I also publish it on the blockchain platform as well. It's called as Charts, and I also do virtual reality presentations. The virtual reality glasses. You have seen that virtual reality, augmented reality. So not in augmented, virtual reality is where I do present a lot of meetings, and we invite a lot of people across the world to exchange information, be there, try to learn these new initiatives, and then it's a different topic altogether. It's a new world. And you have seen Facebook, Metaverse, Meta. So we are already playing in that. The world is already in it. So if you are not there, please start educating yourself, try to get into this new world that your student would be much more aggressive in the future. So you should get into that sooner or later, right? We can go to the next slide. So ये तो बहुत ही important चीज़ है कि आपको समझना है कि हिजरा कौन है. जैसे मैंने बताया, तो हिजरा या किन्नर या ख्वाजा सारा बोलते हैं मुस्लिम्स में, या जोगप्पा बोलते हैं, वो नाम से पुकारते हैं all over India. They are spread all over India, right? This is a casteism. It's a religion. इनका एक गुरु होते हैं, ये उनको फॉलो करते हैं, right? इनको कहा जाता है transgender, and this transgender has been used by British, right? इनको आराम से उनका अभी जैसे आपको बोलते हैं कि ये शर्मा जी हैं, राइट, या somebody सरदार जी हैं. It's like that. Somebody used to say that जात का और सरनेम वगैरह. Now you see this is the kind of situation for them. ये सब ब्राह्मण हैं. They all follow Shri Krishna या Shiva, and they are different varieties. जो आरामनी बोलते हैं वो श्री कृष्णा को फॉलो करते हैं. हिजरास जो होते हैं शिव को फॉलो करते हैं, और इनका जो बहुत बड़ा सा गेट टुगेदर होता है हर कुंभ बेल्ट में, राइट? सो दे आर वेरी बिग कम्युनिटी इन इंडिया. सो यही लोग आपको सिग्नल ट्रैफिक लाइट्स में भी दिख जाते हैं, शादियों में घुस जाते हैं, यही लोग ब्लेसिंग भी देते हैं. ट्रांस वुमेन हम लोग जैसे, वी आर द एक्चुअल people who go through the hormone replacement therapy, we become women, right? 100%. Women to, yeah, man to women, women to man, vagera. This is the most difficult journey in this Prakriti Evam Vikriti that you will see or you will hear. That, you know, it's a very big challenge. It's a huge challenge that our body undergoes. The kind of transformation. बहुत सारे लोग ऑपरेशन सब करवा देते हैं, मेरे से हुआ नहीं है, because luckily, fortunately, I don't need it, except my voice. I don't need to do anything, right? So I'm more or less all good to go. So ये बहुत ही important है कि ये हिजरा जो होता है, so ये हिजरा is a wonderful culture that one has to understand. इसमें जो पैदाइशी या फेमिनिन होता है, मतलब वो वर्ल्ड को फेमिनिन के विजन में वो देखते हैं, right? They look at it more friendly way. They invite in a friendly way. So this is what is mainly their background and their intention also. जैसे मैडम कल बता रहे थे कि उन्होंने एक बस में ट्रैवल कर रहे थे, उनको पहले जो सोसाइटल का फीडबैक थे उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं ट्रांसमिसोजिनी, राइट? सो जो प्रीचिंग आता है जब बच्चे से नहीं ये गलत है सही है वगैरह, वो ट्रांसमिसोजिनी लेके हम लोग क्या करते हैं, डर जाते हैं, हाँ ये लोग ना सही नहीं है, ये गलत है, ये कुछ अलग सा लोग हैं, इनको मत जोड़ो, इनको छूने से आपका नेगेटिव एनर्जी घुस जाता है, पता नहीं किसी को करंट लग जाता है, मेरे घर में भी मेरे को भी वैसे ही करते हैं. सो दिस इज अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी. बट ये बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है कि समझना कि ये गलत नहीं है, and these people should support with each other, and they are seeing it in a very feminine world, the whole thing, and they are the only one who is having the, let's say, privilege. एक मर्द पैदा होता है, बॉय पैदा होता है इनका खानदान में, तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली उसको he has the privilege to become a female by birth. So they don't get to come out to the society and say, hey, I'm going to change my gender because I don't know, I'm having some problem, I have a gender dysphoria, or I am having gender crisis. I went to psychiatrist. वो psychiatrist के पास जाते नहीं हैं, वो हार्मोन थेरेपी नहीं करते हैं, वो खाली ऑपरेशन करवाते हैं. They try to turn into eunuchs, but their earlier method was really horrible. Now today the sophisticated hospitalization techniques are available. Plenty of doctors are there. They take the help, they go through that, and they become eunuchs. And these are the people, when they die, they are unfortunately had to be burned or cremated in the night. So they are not going to be cremated in the evening, like the way हम लोग जब कोई घर में हम लोग lose कर जाते हैं लोगों को, so they are going to be burned before 6 o'clock in the evening, or at least before the sunset. But this happens after sunset. So that's a big difference. Next slide. So ये जो चीज़ है, when I tried to come out, what scared me to become a transgender woman, right? When the doctor said, you have a serious gender crisis, if you have to save your life, you have to come out to the society. If you don't come out to the society, then you have no choice, because your whole body has become alkaline, it has started to damage on your own, so you have to be standing alive for your own self. Then, जो मैंने बोला था इंट्यूशन जो है, वो भी था कि ठीक है, मेरा सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन जो है, why are we here on this planet, that has to be met, and what is it that deep inside is saying, and what is this genes which has come by birth, which is living with you, right? So there's a big difference to that. You have to hear it once in a while. तो मैंने डिसाइड किया कि ठीक है, I will go ahead. When I tried to decide to do this, मेरे को ये डर आया कि यार सोसाइटी क्या बोलेगा next. How is this whole thing is going to be perceived? How are these people going to be driving me next? And what will happen to my social life, friend circle? ये जो दुकान खड़ा किया है बहुत बड़ा सा, including this whole advisory levels and ये वो वगैरह, is a very high flying career. A fish bubble like बोलते हैं ना हम लोग. सो इसको क्या बोलता है? वो फिश जो करके
बुलबुला 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 बुलबुला
Thank you. So it's a fish bubble life, right? So what happens to our fish bubble life that, you know, what we have constructed, how are we going to go away from this and start a new life? And next, if I decide to do this, how will I look like? Right? From a fat 103 kilo man, how do I look when I try to change my gender? So this is a huge topic that, you know, one has to go through. Then you know, I said okay, ये सब डर आ गया, ये सब जो चीज़ हैं, not only to me, anybody who wants to come out will go through this one or the other way, that, you know, I am upside down today, how am I going to, you know, stand upside, you know, let's say straight into this society, how am I going to see this world, and how do I make this a success story? That my existence is saying I need to be somebody, but I am not exactly matching to it, and how do I start now matching to it in order to get an alignment in sync? So ये situation में जो है, it's a huge task and journey. तो मैंने I closed my eyes and I said okay, इसको अंदर से बात सुनते हैं, because ये किसी का भी अभी मेरे को बात नहीं सुननी है. I need to just go deep dive into my own self. And I just heard my deep voice said, you have to go forward. Then I said, okay, that is the time. My wife was also very angry because see, you have almost the age of like, you know, your daughter is going to be now into a graduation, and हम लोग शादी करना है, हम लोगों को ये करना है, वो करना है, वगैरह वगैरह. So I said, that is a different topic. पहले, you know, first problem has to be resolved. जो भी problem खड़ा हुआ है, it has to be resolved. So it has to be attacked by one. So it cannot be going into the next phase. That ठीक है, वहाँ पे क्या होगा? पहले survival हो गया, तो जिंदगी बचा लिया, और you know, you are also seeing that how this whole thing will give a transformation into a new level, because किसी ने भी देखा नहीं है. और ये जो मेरा जो let's say caste है, या जो ये है, basically it's a priest family, extremely traditional. हम लोग, you know, we are from the South India temples. Like मेरा relative है, वो directly तिरुपति में पूजा करते हैं. So by DNA we have the Agama Shastra which says you have to be worshipping, you know, the God, and you are eligible to do this, because हम लोगों को छोड़ के कोई ऐसा काम नहीं कर सकते. अभी एक फैमिली में एक आदमी को लूज कर दिया तो उन्हें क्या है, लेकिन वो उन्होंने लूज कर दिया because I became engineer, I went to something else, I turned myself into a different direction altogether. But ये जो चीज़ है, you know, it was not so bothering, right? And I thought of all these things 360 degrees, turned upside down, and then I said, okay, let me go through this as a challenge, and I am not going to give it up come what may, because this is what is my life existence is asking me for, to do this. So I stood for this, and I went ahead completely to support this kind of transformational journey. Next slide. So anti-scientific elements, इसमें जो आता है, अभी you would have read it, and you will be teaching this also, that in your school, wherever you are teaching, if you are teaching science, unfortunately you will encounter this, that you are going to say X is going to be girl, XY is going to be boy, and there are no other biological genders at all. हमारा book में सिखाई नहीं जाता, because we read that also, and it is nowhere. Nobody talks about this at all, right? So it's a huge problem. इसके ऊपर काफी research हुआ है. There are a lot of scientific innovations and movements that are coming up, but people are not ready to believe, or let's say they are not implementing it in our textbooks, or neither changing it. But America में ये नहीं है. America is really going much more different, and there are the school children, they are getting drag shows. In fact, Donald Trump was also using this in a negative way to gain his popularity. saying that in the nursery, kindergarten, the students are getting drag shows these days in order to, get the children moving away into a new gender. Because वो realization तभी करवाना पड़ेगा बच्चों को. If you see this, इसमें कोई गलत है नहीं. But ये जो चीज़ बोला जाता है, it's a different topic. हमारे में तो बात कर दिया तो पता नहीं क्या होने वाला बाहर, because they have no idea, no interest, and they इनको सबको डर है कि ये हम लोगों को क्या है, हमारा बच्चों को ट्रांसजेंडर बना करके बोल रहे हैं, कोई बोल नहीं रहे हैं. At least they are trying to identify आपका बच्चा बाहर आके प्रॉब्लम ना करे सुबह. That is the issue. So they can go to the next slide. Okay, there are a lot of research topics on these things. There are tons and tons of material available. You can go through this online. If you just Google out, you will see the kind of research, scientific reason behind transgenderism. You get a lot of research online that you can go through this. I don't need to talk about it and iterate with you so that you can save your time, and then we can give time to others also. I think I've taken much more time. Go to the next slide. So this may be, as I said, the genes, right? I mean, there are so many genes that play around. There are, scientific elements. There is the social elements that we try to play around in order to get our, into this kind of situation. That's why I named it as rain before rainbows, right? So it is causing this situation that one has to know. If you know that, it's good. I'm going to leave this presentation. You can go through this. It's very small and it's very lengthy also. I don't want to explain each point. Next slide. So, इसमें बहुत ही important है. I've seen these common mistakes. I've seen extremely, horrific messages. As soon as you write saying that you are a trans woman online, हजारों चीज भरे पड़े रहते हैं. They just flock up your social media. They just flock up and they start. I don't know what happens. It's a huge adrenaline rush. I have seen men and women both do this in a big, I don't know what I need to talk about it. But इसमें तो इतना तकलीफें आती है ना. तो इसमें you need to know there are different types of transgender women. First of all, right? कि कोई कुछ होते हैं. For example, मेरे जैसी, right? So I'm interested in reading, writing, and public speaking and वगैरह, and it is something which comes into my interest levels. So ऐसा नहीं कि किसी मर्द के साथ जाओ, लड़कियों के साथ जाओ. That's not something what I'm looking at. I'm an asexual. Asexual मतलब I just don't get attracted to anything. वो सब दुनिया हो गया मेरा. Right? I left my end that life. So that's one category. मेरा category में ज़्यादा लोग नहीं है, बहुत कम लोग हैं इस दुनिया में. So that's the kind of background what I will say. And I have a perfect alpha status mind that मेरे को कोई कुछ धक्का भी दिया, कुछ भी नहीं फर्क नहीं पड़ता मुझे. I don't, even if I see some dirty things, I don't even get anything. Earlier I used to get crazy, but now I don't even do anything. So that's the one category. Next category is जब ये change होते हैं, तो basically they are working class and lot of अच्छे घर से आते हैं, वो बच्चे हैं, parents accept किया उनको. इंडिया में बहुत common है कि लोग they don't come out. पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं बच्चा बेटा बेटी जो भी हैं बाहर नहीं बोलना है उनको. साइलेंटली वो रिकॉर्ड चेंज कर देते हैं, राइट? आई मीन नॉट इन द पब्लिक मीडिया एट लीस्ट. Silently it happens, and many people are like this. And second thing is there are people who came out after their graduation वगैरह, and they went into some different levels of activities. और काम में भी हैं वो लोग, then they change their genders. वैसा भी हुआ है. lot of changes will happen. तो ये लोग जो होते हैं इस कैटेगरी का, they're more silent. तो उनका लाइफ पता नहीं चलता है किसके साथ क्या करते हैं वगैरह. So they're more silent, covered people that we cannot get into that. तो थर्ड कैटेगरी का जो लोग हैं, बेसिकली वो जो हैं बाहर भी मिलते हैं हिजरों के वैरायटी में, और ये लोग भी वैसा ही हैं. So basically they will be running after. They want to do lot of wonderful things. They want to go around with people. They want to do anything, everything. That is the kind of people, unfortunately, you will see with lot of trans women. But इनका जो हेल्थ का longevity है, it is a big issue, right? Today it is a huge topic because they don't take protections and then they also don't take care of their health, meaning they don't stop drinking, इनका drugs जो रहता है वगैरह वगैरह, so their lifespan is absolutely unknown. If you ask me, if you just Google or do anything, lifespan of transgender, you just ask what is the lifespan of men or women in India, for example, it says only 60 years. Whereas you talk about transgender in anywhere, it doesn't say, because इसका कोई लाइफ का गारंटी नहीं है. कोई मार दिया जाता है या कोई कुछ भी कर दिया जाता है, या ये ऐसा चक्कर में पड़ के वो बताने कहाँ जाते हैं, right? So this is the biggest social issue that one is facing today. So that we have to see, इसके ऊपर भी बहुत सारे NGOs काम कर रहे हैं, इनको एजुकेट कर रहे हैं वगैरह वगैरह, and then इनको जॉब नहीं रहता है तो किसी के साथ भागना है, कहीं पैसा बनाना है. So this is it's a social problem, rather than a humanitarian problem, it's a social problem. इसका फायदा उठाने वाले भी बहुत हैं बैक पीछे. So that's the issue that we are talking about. So we can go to the next slides. मैंने एक सेल्फ पॉजिटिव स्टेप्स उठाई that most important is that negative self talk has to be avoided. It applies to you as well. So in case you are saying नहीं यार ये मेरे से बेहतर है, ये मेरे से अच्छे कर रहे हैं, या ये बहुत ज़्यादा जानते हैं, कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई ज़्यादा जान लिया या कोई कम भी जान लिया. दिस इज़ योर कैपेबिलिटी, योर कैपेसिटी. क्यों? क्योंकि आपका कंसंट्रेशन लेवल है, जब आप ब्रेन को ओपन करते हैं तो खाली वो 2 मिनट या 3 मिनट चलता है, राइट? उसके बाद जो है आई वॉन्ट टू कॉन्सेंट्रेट, इट्स अ ग्रीड दैट यू आर थ्रोइंग आउट. एम आई राइट? सो इट इज़ very important that if you have that urge in you, you will stay awake. आपका जो brain है वो चलते रहता है. Otherwise it just goes switch off. Fuck, you're done. I don't know what it is. I don't even know where I'm going. Right? This is a big problem, and this one has to see themselves, more self-realization, and try to be for your own. Try to get into your safety zones, and focus is very very important that you need to get in. तो ये सब टेक्निक्स आप थोड़ा बहुत फॉलो करेंगे या ट्रांसजेंडर्स भी ऐसा फॉलो करेंगे, तो इट्स लॉट मोर इजी दैट the life can be better, and it can be wonderful for the whole society as well. So that means if I'm having some problem today, right, I'm creating a problem for the society also. If I'm getting admitted to a hospital, that is wrong, right? I mean, that's basically I'm creating some issue to myself and also a problem to the society as well. So I'm not trying to resolve the issue. So I'm not being productive to the society. जब इंडिया बोलता है अमृतकाल, तो अमृतकाल में I will not be there if that happens, right? So this is the background. So we have to be much more positive in order to stay awake, and then stay fit, healthy, good diet, food, and then जैसे वहाँ पे मिलता है इतना चीज़ भर के, there are so many things, मक्खन मार के. That's our food unfortunately today. So we have to see what are we eating. That's something we need to wake up for. Go to the next slide. So अभी society क्या कर रहा है? So society is also changing, as you rightly see that as more and more let's say the gush of wind, I would say, of transgenders moving around like never before across the world. It's a huge movement that is taking place everywhere. And once this happens, a lot of information is also available on the internet, media, everywhere. Today everybody are happy and they're getting much more content. As I said, I'm also there first time on the blockchain to drive this initiative. There are so many things happening everyday basis. जैसे कि हमारा एक सेमिनार हो रहा है यहाँ पे, आप लोग एजुकेट हो रहे हैं, ऐसे हजारों जगह पे चलते रहेंगे everyday basis. Even companies are organizing such events every day. So it's a very important topic that one we need to understand. Is that the society is certainly changing for these kind of things, and they're more receptive, and the world acceptance is also happening. And as I said, first please relate to the science, that science and technology is also driving the whole movement. That ye genderism, ye wo vagera, so that is also is coming up. So next, as I said, next few years down the line, the younger generations are much more knowledgeable when compared to us. Right, much more. They are very aware of, they will be knowing much more information, and their life is going to be much more different than what we are presently going through. So, जैसे कि if I rewind my life for about 40 years, what it was, many are here even beyond my age, that if you rewind what our life is, you see the present life and you imagine a future life, it's really different. And it's changing very drastically and very fast. And the culture is also fading away. You see this. कौन बनाता है फेस्टिवल यहाँ पे? ज़्यादा नहीं बनाते हैं. पता नहीं बाहर इंडियंस जो हैं वो ज़्यादातर सेलिब्रेशन करते हैं. यहाँ पे I hardly see people are celebrating. मैंने पूछा कि last time दिवाली, हाँ बस थोड़ा बहुत इधर उधर का किया, स्वीट्स खाए, बस खत्म. बट वहाँ पे हम लोग ने पटाखा भी फोड़ा भाई. That's how it is, right? So there is a big difference. There is a get together. There is large events that are happening. तो इंडिया से बाहर है वो ज़्यादा सेलिब्रेशन कर रहे हैं, इंडिया में जो है वो कम सेलिब्रेशन कर रहे हैं आजकल. So this is the difference what we are seeing. So that means what? This is giving us an information that we are changing ourselves. It is changing. No one has time. No one is interested in sitting and wasting time on anything. So हम लोगों को कुछ ना कुछ तो सामने करना ही है. So this is the background. So we can go to the next slide. So India, where is it in the inclusive society? So first is the Article 377 was abolished in 2018. हम लोगों को almost 72 years लगे थे ना, 71 years लगे थे कि before the articles were abolished after the British left. So it's a very bad situation. But I'm trying to get the arguments that were done in the Honorable Supreme Courts of India. I'm trying to meet with some of these lawyers that how did they actually use those points and what made them to come out of this kind of decision. And it's a very landmark achievement, I would say, that the biological genders are being recognized and they have been treated as equal. And many people don't know. And मेरे को भी ये डर होता है कि कहीं hotels में जाएंगे, कहीं और जाएंगे. How do people see this? How do they react? Will they not attack us at this point of time? This is a big issue, right? So या घूर के देखो या पता नहीं. I mean, what is running in their mind? So ये एक बहुत बड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम है because people are not aware of certain things. So इनको जब awareness तब तक के लिए नहीं आता है, ये change नहीं होने वाले. तो इसके लिए awareness campaign is what we are extending. It's very important that one has to spread the awareness into this. So इसको अलावा हम लोग we also have lots of NGOs जैसे Dr. Lata ji हैं वगैरह. And there's so many NGOs working to improvise and host these transgender people and get their upliftment, and many companies are offering jobs. This is really fantastic because there's so many posts, trust me, on LinkedIn everyday basis. I see so many posts saying that we are hiring trans women. Please see if you have any contacts and friends, and can you please share the jobs. They use me also to post their jobs. So this is because वो popularity के use करके they try to play around as well. So this is the very important step that one has to understand, that the world is open like never before. So they are really accepting it and they are moving forward. So it's high time also. If we are not changing, it's also important that we change ourselves right now to get to this. Right? And we also need to educate those people who are in the olden, theorems. They are running their brains, to tell them that look, we are not in that situation today. The world is changing. It's high time we also change. This is very important message. Next slide. What can you do? So, आप तो शिक्षक हैं, आप तो you have everything in your hands. So how do you change it? जितना आपको awareness आता है, this is the kind of step that you will take. अभी एक बहुत बड़ा सा problem है अमेरिका में भी. It's not written here, don't worry. It's not in this slide. So बहुत बड़ा problem है अमेरिका में भी that the children are automatically naming themselves as someone else. Suddenly next day morning they say I'm not Iris, I'm Irene. Right? So this is a big problem. And how do teachers handle these scenarios? How do they cope up to this kind of change mechanism? How are they seeing this, perceiving this? And how do they support this kind of movement? This becomes a very big challenging task as a teacher for you people. And you also need to know how the inclusivity topic works in your own school. That means what will other children think? What will other children, can other children stop making fun of the person who is changing their name or gender, or let's say behaving in a little different way. So this is a huge task that you will have in your own hands. So this is a very important that you have the power, you have the knowledge. Once you have the power and the knowledge, I think you can change this world, right? So जितना आपको knowledge gain कर सकते हैं इस topic के ऊपर, because this is the only topic that you will face through a lot of challenge. क्योंकि parents will be behind you, everybody will be behind you, so you need to really see how do you actually tackle this issue. So practically this is going to be a new scenario. As I'm going to reiterate once again, every transgender woman's story is not going to be the same story as mine, right? It's like thumb impression. Really it differs. My journey is different. Somebody else's journey will be different. What happens to me, how the tablets works for me, or the treatment work for me, the other person will not have the same effect. They will have a lot of differences. So each person has their own mentality, as I said, each person is different. Their choices, their preferences, their life, their lifestyle, and the exposure, right? Jitna आपका exposure है, utna it makes a lot of difference, right? So this is the way we can try to bring the change. That I'm just trying to request you to educate as much as possible. Try to get into more of technology as well, because you are the future generation, and you will tune the future generation, because one way or the other you will be encountering the technology in a big way, because technology is revolutionizing in a very, very big fashion. So it's important that you also align to it, and let's try to construct a brand new life, India, and change this world. Thank you so much.